Back in October 2018, I made a video taking a look at the best current footballer who was born in each county in England. The video was pretty research intensive, taking me a good while to make, and it didn't really do that well. Naturally then, in November 2019, I made a follow-up video on the greatest footballer of all time to have been born in every county in England, which took even longer and did even worse in terms of views. Since I'm a cretin who never learns from my mistakes though, today I've decided to do a video on the best football club from every county in England, as many of you have requested in recent weeks. Albert Einstein is often misquoted as having defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, despite the fact that the phrase most likely originates from Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'd much rather be considered insane by the founders of the AA than I would by Albert Einstein, so all is not lost. This was an easier video to research than the players video in fairness, and I will point out that it is based on current talents, standing and squads, rather than historical achievement. Arsenal, for example, are the most successful club in Greater London in terms of their trophy cabinet, but they are not necessarily the best London club right now. As with the two previous videos, these are all the ceremonial counties in England, except the City of London and Greater London are combined to make just one London-based inclusion. As with the two previous videos, there are lots of counties, so I will have to be brief with each so as to avoid boring you all to death. Here is the best football club from every county in England. Bedfordshire. Luton Town. The town of Bedford may be the county town of the county of Bedfordshire, but Luton is by far the town's largest settlement, home to over 200,000 people. Given that Bedford Town play in England's 8th tier and Bedford FC play in tier 11, Luton Town are also by far the best football club in the county. Luton, who have spent a number of years in the top flight over the years and won a League Cup title in 1988, currently compete in the Championship, where they currently found themselves in a relegation scrap. Berkshire. Reading. It's another terribly easy decision in Berkshire, where the county's second most successful football club, Bracknell Town, compete way down in the 8th tier. Championship side Reading, meanwhile, have been second tier regulars over the last 20 years, they're currently mid-table in the Championship, and they have even spent a few seasons in the Premier League, including an 8th place finish in the 2006-07 campaign. Bristol. Bristol City. Few cities in England have historically underachieved in footballing terms as much as Bristol. The city of Bristol is home to almost 500,000 people, meanwhile the ceremonial county has a population of 724,000, making it the 8th largest urban area in the United Kingdom. And yet, neither Bristol City nor Bristol Rovers have competed in the top flight during the Premier League era. Nevertheless, Bristol City are clearly the stronger of the two clubs right now, currently slap bang in mid-table in the Championship, whilst Bristol Rovers finished 14th in League One this season. Buckinghamshire. Wycombe Wanderers. The two best teams in Buckinghamshire were founded some 117 years apart, in the forms of Wycombe Wanderers and Milton Keynes Dons. Both teams compete in League One, but that may not be the case for Wycombe Wanderers next season since they face Oxford United in the League One playoff final at Wembley on Monday, having finished third in League One this season. MK Dons, meanwhile, finished just a couple of points above the League One relegation zone. Cambridgeshire. Peterborough United. Cambridge United and Peterborough United are obviously the two best teams in Cambridgeshire right now, and at the time of recording, there is a fairly sizable gulf in class between the two. Peterborough can consider themselves unfortunate this season that the abrupt ending of the League One campaign prevented them from making the playoffs, if not having a run at the automatic promotion places. Cambridge United, meanwhile, finished 16th in the division below Peterborough this season. Cheshire. Crewe Alexandra. League 2 promotion winners Crewe Alexandra are among the oldest clubs in the EFL, founded over 140 years ago, and they're also the best club based in Cheshire. Renowned for their excellent academy, Crewe have produced some brilliant footballers over the years, and they'll be back in the 3rd tier following 4 seasons away next season. Cornwall. Truro City. Cornwall is one of England's smallest counties, home to around 500,000 people, and it is also home to one of the worst teams in this video. With all due respect to Truro City, who are owned by the Cornish Pirates rugby team, they do compete in the Southern League Premier Division South, which sits at tier 8 in the English footballing pyramid. Cumbria. Carlisle United. From Cornwall to Cumbria, which is an 8-hour drive that you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy, the county of Cumbria brings us to Carlisle United. Cumbria is another fairly small county, but unlike Cornwall, it is home to a football league club. What's more, as of next season, Cumbria will have 2 Football League clubs following the promotion of Barrow from the National League this season. Despite Barrow's success, I still have to go with Carlisle United, who haven't played non-league football since 2005, but this was the closest call yet. Derbyshire. Derby County. The highest ranked team in this video thus far, Derby County, are still very much in the hunt for a championship playoff place, or at least they are at the time of this recording. 2-time First Division champions during the 1970s and 1-time FA Cup winners in 1946, Derby are by far the biggest and best team in Derbyshire. Devon. Plymouth Argyle. Undoubtedly the tightest call in this video just yet, and possibly the tightest of the lot. Had Exeter City won the League 2 playoff a week ago, it would have been splitting hairs between these two. Following Exeter's 4-0 demolition at the hands of Northampton Town at an empty Wembley Stadium, I have no option really but to go with Plymouth Argyle. The Pilgrims won promotion from League 2 this season, finishing in 3rd place via the EFL's points per game criteria. Dorset. Bournemouth. Well, it only took 12 ceremonial counties for us to come to our first Premier League team, and even then, it is a team whose Premier League status is very much under threat right now. For a long time, Dorset didn't have much to shout about from a footballing perspective, but Bournemouth have changed all that over the last 10 years. The Cherries have enjoyed an extraordinary rise under Eddie Howe, spending 5 consecutive seasons in the Premier League, but they face their toughest survival battle yet in the remaining few games this season. Durham. Hartlepool United. It's been a torrid old time for Durham-based football clubs over the last 10 or 11 years, with Hartlepool United falling from League 1 and into the non-league game for the first time since the 1920s, and Darlington going from being a Football League team to being bankrupt and having to restart their club down in English football's 9th tier. Just one division separates the two sides now, with Darlington having finished 10th in the National League North this season, whilst Hartlepool narrowly missed out on the playoffs in the National League. East Sussex. Brighton and Hove Albion. We come to only our 2nd Premier League team back on the south coast in East Sussex, and one whose Premier League status is much more secure this season at least. Brighton are by far the best team in East Sussex, currently in 15th in the Premier League, with the county's next best team, Eastbourne Borough, having finished in the bottom half of the National League South this season. East Yorkshire. Hull City. Yorkshire is by far the largest county in England by area, and the only county which is divided up into 4 different ceremonial counties. The smallest of them, and also the one which I call home, is the East Riding of Yorkshire, which has a population of 600,000. Whilst I would fancy Bridtown, North Ferriby, or even the bunch of lads that I play with on a Monday night to give Hull City a game at the moment, there is no doubt that the Tigers are by far the biggest team in the region. Currently fighting for their life in the Championship, whilst being systemically taken apart by the Allen family every transfer window, Hull City are in 22nd place in the Championship at the time recording, and I would be surprised if we weren't in League 1 next season. Essex. Colchester United. Essex is the 7th largest ceremonial county in England by population, with over 1.8 million people. And if everyone in Essex didn't seem to support West Ham or Spurs, perhaps the county would have a half-decent football club. While Southend United spent this season in League 1 and Colchester United in League 2, the Shrimpers were relegated, whilst the Oysters were losing playoff semi-finalists. There's little to split the two, but if I had to go one way, I suspect Colchester will finish above Southend in League 2 next season. Gloucestershire. Cheltenham Town. It's another close call between 2 League 2 teams in Gloucestershire, given that Cheltenham Town finished 4th in the 4th tier this season, whilst Forest Green finished in 10th. 15 points separated the two teams, as Cheltenham threw away a magnificent chance of promotion, having led 2-0 on the first leg of their playoff semi-final against Northampton Town, so they are still the obvious choice. Greater London. Chelsea. As I said in the introduction, Arsenal are of course the most successful London club throughout all of time, but this video is focused primarily on the here and now. None of the London clubs have been at their best this season, but Chelsea are the only ones who, most likely, will be in the Champions League next season. The Blues are the 2nd most successful club from the capital city historically, and by far the most successful since the arrival of Roman Abramovich. Greater Manchester. Manchester City. The quality on offer in this video has jumped rather significantly with the last 2 counties, which also happen to be 2 of the 3 largest ceremonial counties in England, with clubs such as Arsenal, Tottenham and Manchester United all missing out. Obviously, Manchester United are historically by far the most successful club in Greater Manchester, but I don't think even the most ardent Manchester United fan would suggest that they have a better team than Man City at this moment in time. Manchester United have been in fine form since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, and particularly since football has resumed, but Man City have been remarkable over the last few years, and they could still win a treble this season, including the Champions League. Hampshire. Southampton. Making it 3 Premier League teams in quick succession, Hampshire is of course home to 2 of England's bitterest rivals, Southampton and Portsmouth. Whilst it is Pompey who have the more impressive trophy cabinet featuring 2 top-flight titles and an FA Cup, the Saints are undoubtedly the stronger of the 2 teams right now. While Southampton are sat comfortably in mid-table in the Premier League this season, Portsmouth just lost the League One playoff semi-finals to Oxford United. Herefordshire. Hereford. Another team who have had a rotten decade, Hereford FC are technically a new club founded in 2014 after Hereford United were wound up. Hereford FC started out in the 9th tier in 2014, but 3 promotions in their first 4 seasons earned the club a place back in the National League North. The Bulls, who once stunned Newcastle United in the FA Cup as Hereford United, finished 16th in England's 6th tier this season. Hertfordshire. Watford. It's an obvious shout in Hertfordshire, which is one of 13 counties that is home to a Premier League club. Watford have been a Premier League club since 2015, chopping and changing their managers with some regularity, and the Hornets reached their 2nd FA Cup final last season. Isle of Wight. Cowes Sports FC. The 2nd smallest English county, I think I am right in saying that the Isle of Wight have 3 teams who compete in the English Football League pyramid, rather than the independent Isle of Wight League. The highest ranked of these 3 is Cowes Sports FC, founded in 1881, who compete in the Wessex League Premier Division, a level 9 in England's footballing pyramid. Kent. Gillingham. There are a number of Kent-based clubs who compete in the National League and National League South, but despite the county's size, it is the 5th most populous county in England, there is only 1 EFL club in the county. What's more, the club in question, with all due respect, are hardly behemoths of the British game. Gillingham FC compete in League One, where they finished 10th this season, and they are managed by perhaps the most irritating man in all of English football. Lancashire. Burnley. In Blackburn Rovers, Preston North End and Blackpool, Lancashire has given the British game some of its greatest and most important historical institutions, and the decline of many of those teams is a shame. There is still 1 top-flight team in the county, and that's Burnley, despite the fact that Burnley is only the 4th largest settlement in Lancashire. Historical and current overachievers, Burnley are in the top half of the Premier League, 1 place above Tottenham at the time of this recording, but they may well face an uphill battle should Sean Dyche leave the club this summer. Leicestershire. Leicester City. Leicester is, rather unsurprisingly, by far the largest settlement in Leicestershire, and it is also home to the county's standout football team by some distance. Champions League hopefuls and 2016 Premier League title winners Leicester City are the 3rd best team in England according to the Premier League table at the time of recording, so they make this one pretty comfortable given that Leicestershire's 2nd best team is probably based at Loughborough Uni. Lincolnshire. Lincoln City. There are 3 local rivals based in Lincolnshire, all of similar standing in terms of the last 10 years or more, namely Lincoln City, Scunthorpe United and Grimsby Town. Lincoln currently compete in League 1, while Scunthorpe and Grimsby are down in League 2, so they take this one. Merseyside. Liverpool. 2 of England's most successful football teams hail from the city of Liverpool and the county of Merseyside, but Liverpool have both historically enjoyed more success than Everton and are most assuredly a stronger team right now. The Reds won their first top-flight league title in 30 years this season, and they have been remarkably impressive and consistent under Jurgen Klopp for the last 2 seasons. Norfolk. Norwich City. Commiserations to the likes of Kings Lynn and Great Yarmouth, but Norwich City are quite clearly the best team in Norfolk. Despite a difficult return to the Premier League this season, which has resulted in a swift return to the Championship, the Canaries are well placed to mount yet another promotion push next season, and they're certainly head and shoulders above all their fellow Norfolk non-league clubs. Fellow Norfolk clubs, of course, not fellow non-league clubs. Norwich are not going to be relegated down 4 divisions. Northamptonshire. Northampton Town. Northamptonshire is home to National League North duo Brackley Town and Kettering Town, but only 1 EFL club, and it's an EFL club on the up right now. Following 2 seasons in League 2, Northampton Town won promotion to League 1 via the playoffs this season. Northumberland, BLYTH Spartans. Whilst almost all of the teams considered for this video can be compared like to like in the Football League pyramid right now, that's not the case with the two best teams based in Northumberland. That is because they are BLYTH Spartans, who compete in the English football pyramid, and BERK Rangers, who compete in Scotland's league system. BLYTH Spartans were fortunate to escape relegation from the National League North this season, England's 6th tier, whilst BERK Rangers compete in the Lowland League, which is Scotland's 5th tier. As far as I can tell, the teams have played a number of friendly games with mixed results, but none for a while now, and I suspect it would be a close game between the two, with the Spartans perhaps edging it. North Yorkshire, Middlesbrough. A little bit like with Hull City and East Yorkshire, Middlesbrough may be having a pretty torrid time of things this season, but Neil Warnock's men don't really have any serious competition in North Yorkshire. Borough face a relegation battle in the Championship this season, but it's one I suspect the club will get out of. Nottinghamshire, Nottingham Forest. Nottinghamshire is home to the world's oldest professional football club and the world's oldest football league club up until their recent relegation. That was of course Notts County, but Nottingham Forest have been the best team in the county for some time now, and the former European champions are currently vying for a long-awaited return to the Premier League. Oxfordshire, Oxford United. Wycombe Wanderers have already featured in this video, and now we have the team who will face them in the upcoming League One playoff final to decide which team will book their place in the Championship next season. Oxford finished 4th in League One this season, missing out on automatic promotion by just 2 points on a points per game basis. Rutland, Oakham United. Rutland is the smallest county in England, and it is home to the worst team in this entire video. Oakham United, who were founded in 2011 through a merger of Rutland Rangers and Oakham Imperial, compete in the Peterborough and District League, a level 11 in England's footballing pyramid. Shropshire, Shrewsbury Town. Christ, I forgot quite how long these videos take. Obviously, Shropshire's best team is Shrewsbury Town, who are managed by former Wales international and Hull City legend Sam Ricketts in League One. Somerset, Yeovil Town. A Championship team as recently as 2014, Yeovil Town have spent most of their existence in English football's lower leagues, and they are currently fighting for a return to the EFL. Following a 4th place finish in the National League this season, Yeovil will go into the playoffs in search of a return to League Two. South Yorkshire, Sheffield United. Yorkshire is divided into 4 ceremonial counties, but as a United county, right now, Sheffield United are undoubtedly the best team in the region. The Blades have enjoyed a meteoric rise up from League One under Chris Wilder, and they'll most likely be playing European football next season, possibly even Champions League football, although most likely it'll be the Europa League. Staffordshire, Stoke City. Staffordshire rivals Stoke City and Port Vale are the county's 2 best clubs, but even during what has been a pretty rubbish spell by Stoke City standards, they are still the best team in the region. As the Potters fight to stay in the Championship, despite having a squad far too strong to be down in the bottom of that league, Port Vale just missed out on a League 2 playoff spot this season. Suffolk, Ipswich Town. Not only are Ipswich Town the best football club in Suffolk, I'm going to expose my brazen lack of footballing knowledge by admitting that I can't even think of another football club from the county. I'm sure there are a couple who you could say and I would kick myself, but off the top of my head, I've got nothing. The Tractor Boys are former First Division, FA Cup and even UEFA Cup winners, but they're a mid-table League One side right now. Sorry, Woking FC. This is not as easy of a decision as it may previously have been, given the fantastic story of Dorking Wanderers in recent years. Founded in 1999 in the now defunct Crawley and District League, Dorking Wanderers have climbed all the way up to the National League South, but they're still not quite the best team in Surrey. That title belongs to Woking, who were founded back in the 1880s and currently compete in the National League. Tyne and Wear, Newcastle United. Tyne and Wear may be the most football-crazed county in England, and it is home to 2 of the nation's best supported clubs. Newcastle United and Sunderland have jostled for supremacy in the region for more than a century, but right now there is a big gap between the 2 sides. Whilst Newcastle look even safer in the Premier League this season under Steve Bruce than they did at times under Rafa Benitez, Sunderland are still battling to get out of League One. Warwickshire, Leamington FC. My first thought in Warwickshire was Nuneaton Borough, but I didn't quite realise the extent of their demise over the last 5 or 6 years. A National League club back in 2015, 2 relegations have seen Nuneaton fall into the 7th tier, whilst Leamington FC, from Leamington Spa, compete in the National League North, so they take this one. West Midlands. Wolves. The West Midlands is the second largest ceremonial county in England in terms of population, behind London, and unsurprisingly, it is home to a string of fairly sizable football clubs. Historically, you would have to say Aston Villa are the county's biggest football club, along with the likes of West Bromwich Albion, Birmingham City, and the county's most competitive current club, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves have had a brilliant few seasons under Nuno Espirito Santo, and they're currently fighting for a top 6 finish in the Premier League and a European trophy, so they're an easy pick here. West Sussex. Crawley Town. For a county of over 840,000 people, I have to say to the people of West Sussex that I think you could be doing a little more on a footballing front. Crawley Town are the county's top team, and the Red Devils are a mid-table League 2 team at the moment. West Yorkshire. Leeds United. Until recently, West Yorkshire's top team was Huddersfield Town, but the Terriers' demise has coincided with the resurgence of their near neighbours Leeds United, with an honourable mention to Bradford City. Both Leeds and Huddersfield are 3-time champions of England, but there's no doubt Leeds are the better club at the minute, currently looking like near certainties to return to the Premier League for the first time since 2004 this season. Wiltshire. Swindon Town. The county of Wiltshire may be more famous for Stonehenge and Salisbury Cathedral, but the county is home to a former Premier League team in Swindon Town. The Robins' stay in the Premier League was pretty short-lived, and Wiltshire's finest are on the rise once again this season, having just won the League 2 title on a points-per-game basis. Worcestershire. Kidderminster Harriers. We saved the best till last in many respects. Okay, not really, but Kidderminster Harriers are a club that bring back a lot of happy memories for me, since one of the first games I can really vividly remember attending at Hull City was a 6-1 win against Kidderminster Harriers, and I can remember watching the game with my granddad as my dad was away on work. Anyway, I digress, but Kiddy were a Football League team when they came up against the mighty Tigers, and that is no longer the case. The Harriers currently compete in the National League North, but they still see off the challenge of 7th tier Redditch United to be named as Worcestershire's best football club. So that is it for today's video. Quite a lengthy one, I know. I hope you all enjoyed it. Give us a like if so, let us know your thoughts in the comments, have a fantastic day, and as always, feel free to subscribe to HITC Sevens.